Hey guys, it's Ryu with RyuGaming.com, and in this video I'm going to show you the difference in acceleration since the update that came out from Valve about a week ago, and compare and contrast that to what it was like prior. This is actually the first request I received since I announced and released what you're watching this video on right now on the RyuGaming.com forums, and I'm happy to be able to knock this one out so quickly. So the way it worked, and I'm going to try my best to explain this as clear as I can, the way it worked before the update, you went from 0, meaning standing still, to the max speed of whatever your weapon was in the same amount of time, regardless of the weapon. So, with a knife, my max speed is 250, and if you look in the top left corner, you see it says 250. That's my max velocity with the knife out, 250. With the AK, it's 215. Now, I went from 0 to 215 with the AK out in the same amount of time I went from 0 to 250 with the knife out. That's how it used to work. So hopefully that makes sense. You can think of it like if 60 is your max speed, I went 0 to 60 in a Ferrari in the same speed that you went 0 to 60 in a Mack truck. It didn't really make that much sense to be able to accelerate like that. After the update, you accelerate based upon the weapon you're carrying at the time. So a heavier weapon like the AK accelerates much slower than a really light weapon like the knife. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand on this, from my crosshair all the way down on this line, and I'm going to peek out until I see velocity hit 215. I'm not going to counter strafe, which means I'm not going to stop my strafe at all. I'm just going to strafe until I see 215 and then let go of the button. And you guys will see how far out it peaks now. Okay, so you can see that was pretty far. My reaction time on that was a little slow. Give one more here. Okay, so you can see I can see almost all that wall. I can almost see this part of the ramp here. You can see how far that is. Now the command that they added to the game, SV accelerate, use weapon speed. When it's set to 0, it goes back to the way the game used to be, where regardless of the max weapon speed of your gun or the weight of the gun, you accelerated the same. And I'm going to peek it again with the AK so you guys can see what that looks like. And you can see this is a much, much shorter peak. Just, I could barely see, maybe half of that wall, where before I was probably out like this, where I can almost see the ramp. Here I'm much, much shorter. And if you used to play, maybe, I know a lot of really aggressive ops haven't liked this update, they haven't liked the change, because they would quick peek corners with an op, and now you can't really do it as much. So when you're playing, it's important to know that you need to play a little bit more defensively. You're going to have to hold angles a bit more than kind of press and play with excessive aggression, in my opinion. And I like the update. I think that it brings a much more classic Counter-Strike feel to the game, and I think it was much needed. It's just something you need to understand how it works and what it means. So you'll see, accelerating with the AK is much slower to that 215 than here. The difference is about 2 or 3 steps. So it's a pretty significant difference. I'm going to see if I can slow this video down so you guys can see me hit that max speed and see the actual difference in a little bit closer, because I know that velocity number jumps up and down really fast. It's kind of hard to follow. If you guys have any other requests or feedback for me, please feel free to post it on the forums. Like I said, this was the first request that I received, so I'm happy to knock it out. And anything else you guys have, I'll do my best to get it done quickly.